getting off his private jet in Winnipeg, so it was nice that, you know, I look, Jonathan Toews, since I watched him at the World Junior and as a young kid in his draft year, he's always been one of my favorite players. And what he did in Chicago, and I mean, look, Patty Kane was obviously a great piece there, but Jonathan Toews to me was the glue. He and Duncan Keith. I love the pickup by Winnipeg, I really do. And with this guy with the heart and you know, hockey sense that he has, missing a couple of years, I think he's going to be a real good asset to the team. I really do. And I think it's a great sign for Winnipeg, and I hope it goes really well for him. He's one of my all-time favorite NHL players.
You're watching and listening to Doug MacLean, former NHL president, GM, head coach, and Off the Rails Friday. Mac, Brock Besser, back to Vancouver. You know, for something that appeared pretty sour in terms of the negotiations all year, and then to have been on the block for a trade and then only to have your team say, it was really, couldn't get this for him, or, you know, the value wasn't as good as we thought for him. And he ends up signing back there over 7 years at over $50 million. And I would imagine that there was ample reasons for both of them to really be pissed off at each other or hold animosity towards one another, but they didn't. And I actually tip my hat to Brock Besser and, you know, Vancouver for saying, okay, where we were then and where we are now are two different places, and we're good if you're good, and let's move forward here. It doesn't happen too often. I can tell you that. Once you're pissed off.
I came on this show today thinking, okay, it's the last show. You're
not going to ask for a raise, are you?
And I don't want. I've trended in Vancouver a few times this year because of this show, and I really don't want to trend right now.
You're almost clear.
You know, about the no Canadian rule out there, and you know the Demko. I made comments about Demko. All of a sudden they give him $20 million a year. Something. Seriously, I can't remember the last time he played. But anyway, I'm gonna couch the conversation because I don't want to offend anybody in Vancouver.
Oh, stop it.
I just look at what's going on and I can't figure it out. You're right, Besser. I mean, I would have bet any money he was going somewhere else. And then I see Toronto tried to sign him. So you got a choice. You're going to go to Toronto or Vancouver. You know, I kind of surprised. I thought Toronto would have a chance to get him. But, you know, I was told Marchand was going to be in Toronto. Besser was going to be in Toronto. You had everybody coming to Toronto and Marner going. So I was counting on you, and obviously you were wrong.
Besides Nick Waugh and Trigger, the horse.
Panzetta.
And him too.
Panzetta and Trigger.
I used to scout with Panzetta days, and I used to run into him in the press box almost every game in Montreal.
Where do you think Brad Treliving is right now with the Leafs? And I actually think that he's one of those guys that could have easily had a knee-jerk reaction and sunk some money in places where he probably didn't think it was best maybe to alleviate some pressure. He chose not to. Fights another day. I think it's a pretty smart move.
By not signing anybody?
Well, just waiting it out. Don't sign somebody just for the sake of signing them. Obviously, they went after Brock Besser. At least you would have known that that's a legit 30-goal guy.
Right. Yeah.
But outside of that, it got really thin fast.
I know, and I agree with you. But that said, they're missing 120 points right now, and it's not, and it's thin out there right now. We saw it, and you said it. It went thin real fast, and because everybody kept their own players essentially. You know, the top guys were retained in a lot of teams, except Mitch Marner had to be without a doubt the number one guy, and I don't know. I think it's devastating losing him. I really do. And I've said that for 6 months on this show, and everybody's mad at him. And all he did is go by his rights, you know. And and then the tampering BS that came out. I hate when I hear those rumors about the tampering, because I could tamper with the best of them and never get caught. But I'm kidding, Gary. I'm kidding. I never did. Bill,
it's okay. It's okay. They got you out of the league. Don't worry. They can't touch you now.
They must have thought I did.
Mac, like, you need some. You really need a smoking gun now to be caught. Do you not? You got to be. No, let me rephrase that. You got to be a complete moron to get caught.
To get caught. 100%. You got to be a complete moron to get caught. And because players said to Mitch, Vegas is a good place to play, is not tampering. Now, I don't know what Elliott had. Obviously, he must have heard something, but I don't. I was shocked when I started to read that stuff. That's one of the few times. It doesn't come out very often. It doesn't get reported very often that a team's thinking of doing that. And
I'm sure George McPhee and Kelly had no problems with it at all.
I heard that they wanted to pull the arms off somebody.
No,
he
Elliott.
couldn't write again.
So, Mac, what's your summer consist of? You're in PEI, you playing golf, you consulting for NHL teams. What are you doing?
You know what? I was in LA for 3 or 4 days, and then I just got back from Halifax. I was over at the Danny Galvin Golf Classic, which is one of the greatest tournaments you could ever go to. I absolutely love it. I played yesterday or 2 days ago with John Shannon, Jack Armstrong, and a good friend of ours, Mike Roberts. So we played at Old Ashburn, and then yesterday I played with the Bank of Nova Scotia group. Just a fantastic day. 2 of the women in the group had never held a golf club in their hands. I was the best golfer. Usually I'm the worst golfer in the group, but I was the best golfer in the group. I got tired of them using my drives, so,
They tell me
it's a relaxing summer. Actually, I've got quite a bit of real estate stuff going here. I got a couple subdivisions we're selling, and we're finishing up an apartment building.
You want to plug a link to a website or something? Sell a couple apartments, Doug?
Oh, yeah. Check out